It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Merry Christmas episode of the podcast. Wow, Wednesday falls on a Christmas, so we are doing a Christmas version. I'm actually recording this on Christmas. It is 12:44 a.m. I should be sleeping, but I, like my daughter, am very excited for tomorrow. I'm going to be exhausted, but I'm hyped. And we're going to talk Christmas today. We're going to talk maybe a little more sentimental today. I don't know how it's going to play out, but there's some stuff I want to bring up. I've got a movie shout out we need to get out there. So there's that. And then, Kelly's, what are you into? I'm going to hit you with a little Christmas music and some other stuff. So let's do it. Let's get into it today. I don't know how long I'm going to record because I do need to get a little bit of sleep. It looks awesome upstairs in our house right now. We are rip-roaring, ready to go. We're getting into that here in a second. I need to make sure my notes are up and legible and readable. Okay, so we take a look to start the podcast off. Well, first of all, we say thank you to the Patreon members. Supporting this podcast is the reason this podcast continues. So for those of you who support the podcast over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast, thank you so much for making all of this possible to continue. It really means the world to me. Thank you. Okay, and then we also take a look at 5-star reviews on iTunes. No 5-star reviews, which means I need to come up with a shout-out. And the shout-out today is going to go to the Netflix movie, Our Little Secret. I've been on a bit of a Netflix kick. I just got done watching Nate Bargatze's new comedy special. I thought it was good, not great. He is very funny. I'm a Nate Bargatze fan, so don't think I'm not, and I'm just trying to dunk on him. I really like him. Two things. I didn't think all the jokes hit. I think some of them really hit and were very funny. There were some moments I laughed out loud here watching it in the basement. So it's definitely worth watching. It's just probably not as funny as some of his older stuff, which to me makes sense in the comedy world. You wrote a bunch of really, really good jokes, and then you performed them, and you've written these jokes for a lifetime. Now you're kind of having to come up with these jokes quicker, and I'm sure it's a little more difficult. Anyways, good special, but the thing that bothered me, his left eye in this special, to me it looks like he's getting pink eye or something, and I couldn't get over it. So there's my pettiness with the new Nate Bargatze special on Netflix. I'd recommend it, though. But Anna and I watched a Christmas movie, one of the new Netflix Christmas movies, Our Little Secret, with Lindsay Lohan. And it was wonderful. It was just what I needed. Now, that's my kind of Christmas movie. I obviously love the classics. I love the big hitters, the heavy hitters. But throw me into the mix for the Hallmark ones, these Netflix originals. I thought this was great. And one of the things I'm realizing more and more when I watch a Christmas movie, and Our Little Secret does this well, be predictable. Be predictable. By about 10 minutes into the movie, I want to know the whole movie. That's it. I want to take a guess at what's going to happen at the end, and I want that to happen. I think a lot of people rip the Hallmark movies because they're like, ooh, girl gets stranded in a small town, meets the innkeeper, and they weirdly fall in love, but they shouldn't because they seem so different. But oh, they aren't so different. They're alike and they're in love, and now they live happily ever after. And people rip that, but that's the mold, and that's what it needs to be, and that's what it needs to be forever. So I was very thankful with Our Little Secret because you kind of make your predictions at the beginning, and then that happens, and you're like, this is great. I didn't need any twists. I didn't need it to try to get cute. Just deliver, and that's what they did. So I thought it was a great movie. I'd recommend it. If you're looking for stuff to do on Christmas, watch that movie. Okay, speaking of Christmas, let's get into it. This is a weird time of year for me because I'm a Christmas fanatic. I love it so very much. It is my favorite time of the year. I've always said Hoop Fest is my favorite weekend of the year. Spokane's 3-on-3 basketball tournament, largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the world. And I've always said Hoop Fest is my favorite weekend in the world unless Christmas falls on a weekend, because Christmas is my favorite. I love it. And it's Christmas time. And it's weird because my Christmases from growing up to the middle portion of, I guess, my early adulthood into now my middle adulthood, heading into the end of it all. It's they're all very different. And so I guess, as I look at this year being the first year we're really doing Christmas the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future, this has been kind of an interesting Christmas for me as I kind of get my feet underneath me and we begin to, figure out how Christmas is going to look for us every single year moving forward. Again, I talked about it on Monday's podcast. Not traveling this year for Christmas has been very different. Getting to do Christmas with my family in our house has been very different and very cool. But it's weird, and it's kind of caught me off guard because I'm now 8 years so acclimated to coming to Kentucky from Spokane that I never really got my bearings underneath me, I felt like, this year because it's just been so long that we've kind of done the visit and you're the visitor, and that's how Christmas goes. It's back to now what I loved as a young adult. I'm home court advantage for Christmas. I'm in my city for Christmas. I can do all the Christmas stuff. And it didn't click all the way this year, but it's starting to. And I think next year is going to be a very fun year, as now we'll be very much more be established here in Lexington, and we can get rolling with the kids a little bit older, and it's just it gets great with the kids. Anyways, I bring all that up to say this is a weird time because when you get married, you do this thing where you try to juggle your Christmases from your youth with my wife's Christmases from her youth, how those mix. And then I've got such different experiences growing up where my Christmases changed drastically when I turned 18 years old and we moved back to the States from Venezuela. And so it's just this weird thing of like, how does Christmas look for me, and what do I want Christmas to look like with my kids? And it's tricky, and it's going to be interesting to navigate going forward. I was very lucky as a kid for what I enjoyed for Christmas. I think is awesome, and I think it will be okay to incorporate it. It's not like something like Anna's going to be like, what? Because this is similar, I think, to what she did, but theirs is a little different. My wife always tells me, when they lived in the States, they grew up here. Good Christmas presents. That's how my friends always were. Good Christmas presents, the ones I have here in the States. We didn't have that in Venezuela. That wasn't the deal. Presents was not the thing in Venezuela. We got gifts. My mom and dad would have gifts. People would actually send us stuff from the States a lot of times so we could get some gifts from the States. Really cool, awesome. And it was great, but we didn't get a whole lot of presents, and that wasn't what Christmas was about for us. And then that kind of carried over to our adulthood, and we'll get into that in a second. But my Christmases as a kid, and I'm sure it was because of where we grew up, were very much founded on we did stuff. It was activities. Activities was the theme, and I'm talking about actual Christmas. So growing up, before we came to Venezuela, my mom and dad, when they were married, they spent Christmas Eve at my dad's house, at my dad's family's house, and then Christmas Day over with my mom's family. And that's what ended up happening when we came back. But when we were in Venezuela, we would, on Christmas Eve, which is the big day in Venezuela, where they have like people walking through the streets, live nativities through the streets, a lot of fiestas going on. Christmas Eve was the big one. And then Christmas Day was the big one to the gringos, us. So Christmas Eve was always interesting because our Christmas Eve, we didn't do anything till that night, Christmas Eve night. My dad made steaks. My mom made these garlic potatoes that I love. And then she did like this green bean, carrot, peas, veggie mix that was so good. In fact, my mom still does it. My sister sent me a picture tonight of that same meal we had growing up every Christmas Eve. And I was very jealous. I loved it. It was always a great food night for us. But we would kick the night off. We'd hang out. My dad would maybe read the Christmas story. We would talk about the Christmas story, do something there. We'd eat dinner, and then we would play games until we had to go to bed. And so we would play games. We'd play cards, we'd play dice, whatever it was. And as Aaron and I got older and older, we just would stay up later and later. And we would stay up, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. My mom would stay up late with us. She'd play games. My dad would stay up as late as he could. And we just had so much fun playing games. Then we'd go to bed. We'd wake up on Christmas morning. We'd do our presents at home. with just the family. And then my mom always at about 11 o'clock, she would invite other missionary families to our house and ones who had kids, Aaron my age, and we would do a whole day of games. The whole day. We'd do a big lunch with the other families, and then we would play games all afternoon, do dinner, and then we would play games all night again until 1 o'clock. It was awesome. Just pure games and activities. So that was my kid growing up as a child. Then we moved back to the States, and we spent Christmas Eve with Gramps and Graham, my dad's side of the family, where my cousins, Ryan, Scott, and I, we would do a game day for the whole family. We'd come up with games. We'd play games all afternoon. We did Christmas Story at night. We did like presents were so optional that night. Everyone, there was like a gift exchange, but it was cheap gift exchange, and you never really got anything that was going to blow your mind. In fact, there was a lot of times where I remember the gifts would get in the way of the activities. Then we do that at Gramps and Graham's, pack up, head to my mom's side of the family's house, and then we do Christmas Day there, open presents in the morning, and just relax because it wasn't as hectic and chaotic as my dad's side of the family. We would relax. We'd play Skip-Bo. If someone got a game for Christmas, my dad would normally get a game for Christmas. We'd play that game. We'd watch a lot of the NBA games, and it was really chill, low key. Okay, so why am I bringing all this up? I'm bringing all this up because I now have kids, and it is very fun to buy presents for your kids. And I know not everyone can buy presents for their kids, and everyone's Christmases are different. And I have a heart for this because I see people here in the States who say, we don't have a lot for our kids, but they have gifts. They have gifts for their kids. Maybe they have 3 presents for their kids. Maybe they have 5 presents for their kids. Whatever. It's some people have 100. Some people have 5. Some people have 3, and it's not a lot. Where I grew up, we would go, and my mom and sister would go out, and there was truly the poorest poor people living in their huts in part of Rubio where we lived. And my mom and sister would take the cheesiest little toys to, like, Gloria. She was one of the gals at the church. She would go up to her house made of dirt, and she would drop off cheesy little toys to Gloria's kids. And the story I remember, and I've told it before on the podcast, my mom looked, and as they're handing them new toys, the toys the boys are playing with are the same cheap, extremely cheap, flimsy toys that they had got from my mom the year before. Those were their toys, plastic army men. Those were their toys for the entire year. My daughter gets a Happy Meal toy every 2 weeks. And it lasts for like a week and a half, and then we lose it or we just get rid of it. And it's hard for me because I've seen the other side where 8 army men were the toy for the year. And it was important to make sure those lasted for the entire year and probably beyond. And that always is there in my head every Christmas. And as I looked tonight and we were getting the kids' presents ready, my daughter is getting a bike. I put a bike together tonight. My son's getting a scooter. My daughter's got this, she really wanted makeup. And so we got her some cheesy makeup, but my wife got her this little vanity, like a little kit, like a little tiny vanity that took me way too long to put together, but a vanity with like a mirror. And I'm just looking at all this stuff, and I'm so excited to give it to my daughter. I'm so excited for that. But I am dealing with, sorry, this is my journal, right? I'm dealing with how do I keep, because I've seen little and I've seen a lot in terms of what happens with Christmas. But the thing I want is maybe if it's in the middle, I want the key to be the gifts are not the thing. I love the gifts. I love spoiling my kids. I love getting them what we can within our means and being excited about it. And if, 1 year we can get them really awesome stuff, I'm going to be so excited about it. If a new video game system comes out when the kids are older and I can get that for them, I'm going to be excited. If there's a year where we can't get as much and we just do that, I'm going to be excited still. But I want to figure out how to make sure that when my kids are older and they're doing their podcast, the thing they're talking about is how we really enjoyed hanging out with mom and dad. We really enjoyed playing games, watching a movie, being together, telling stories, doing a fire pit, whatever it is. I want to make sure that my kids, when they look back and as they're growing up, the highlight of their Christmas is not the presents. And that even the second or third highlight isn't the presents. And that, sure, some years they may get something awesome and it's something they remember and they bring up from time to time. But when they talk about their Christmases, I want them to be about the people. So I also say this knowing that for a lot of people, that's not the case. I'm very fortunate to have a family like I do, and I understand this, and I've seen how lucky I am to have the family I have, and my mom and dad are awesome, and my extended family is awesome. And that's not everyone. And there's a lot of people who go into Christmas without that family angle, and it's hard. And it's hard, and maybe it's more sad than it is happy. I guess my thing would be find someone. Find people. Find friends. Talk to friends. Don't let maybe they're with their family, get in the way. Talk to your friends. Make sure you're doing stuff around this time. Make sure, because this is a really cool time of year, and it is a great opportunity to be around people and hang with people and do activities. And maybe you can't afford gifts and you're like, well, I don't want to go hang out with people because I can't get gifts. Screw the gifts. I promise you that at some point, even the people who love the gifts a lot, if you go over and you just have a great time, the gifts don't matter. They don't. And I don't know. I don't know if this is, again, I knew coming in, this was going to be unplanned and it's 1:00 in the morning, but this is just a great time of year. And like I said, I got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 0-year-old, and they're going to get spoiled tomorrow. And we are getting, though, to the age with Olivia where she's going to start remembering things. And so I know tomorrow we've got a busy one because we're going to do presents here at our house. And then I'm sure they're going to want to play with their presents, as every kid has ever wanted to do, will do. Then we're going to go to Jay and Lisa's, my in-laws, and we're going to do presents there. And right there, I can feel it. We're heavy on presents, right? Excuse me. But tomorrow afternoon, I want to make sure to make a point. I know my daughter's getting Old Maid tomorrow, the card game Old Maid. I want to make a point to sit down tomorrow afternoon and see if I can get Anna involved and go, okay, Olivia, let's play Old Maid, and make a big deal about it and make it really fun. I got her some special candy for tomorrow. Sorry, Anna. I got her some candy. We'll bust it out. We'll play Old Maid. And I want that to be a good memory tomorrow. That's what I want to start. I want to start setting that up. I want to start laying the groundwork for that as we go forward with all this. Anyways, I don't know. What does that mean? Did that mean anything? Was that anything? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't to you. My thing would just be, I hope tomorrow, I hope this week, you're able to focus on the people you're with, whether it's family, friends, whoever it is. I hope you're able to focus on the people you're with. You're able to put the gifts that happen, that kind of stuff. I hope they're there, if they're there, and I hope you can enjoy them if you can enjoy them and you've got those. But I really hope that you start to make those lasting memories and you focus on the people and the fun and the activities. All right, what the heck? I mean, shut up, Sean. Presents rule, dude.
Kelly's, what are you into?
They freaking rule. They rule. I don't remember a lot of my presents growing up. I know Aaron and I got like these little mini boombox one year. We both got them. They had 2 tape decks in them. And so you could record, like if you had a tape, you could record a tape. So if I could borrow a tape from a buddy and tape over the top part, and then I had my own cassette tape, I could record that album. Oh, what a time that was. I loved it. But I wore that thing out playing cassette tapes, playing Nerf basketball in my room. And then eventually I had a Discman, and I had the cassette tape that I could put in the cassette player because I didn't have an actual stereo with a CD player. And I would play my Discman through that little tape connector. If you're watching on YouTube, I didn't button my shirt, my little Christmas shirt here. It's really bothering me. Anyways, I'd play the Discman through that adapter, and I just loved it. That was a great Christmas present. One of my favorites growing up as a kid. All right, where are we? What are we doing? Kelly's, what are you into? I have something. I need to remember what it was. Oh, I had a moment today. This was I'm an old man moment. My what are you into is YouTube. YouTube and the internet. I had to use it like an old man today. I'm 43 years old. I've grown up playing video games. I feel very smart when it comes to video games. I'm hip to this. My daughter asked Santa when we went and saw Santa at a bookstore here in Lexington. My daughter asked Santa for a game called Dress to Impress. I don't know much about this game, but I know that some of Olivia's friends have it, and there's a girl she watches on YouTube who I actually don't mind. A lot of the YouTube stuff I'm weird about, but this one I don't mind. And she plays with her dad and her brother this Dress to Impress game, and Olivia thinks it's awesome. So I was like, okay, well, she asked for a video game. That's got to happen. Well, I Googled it, and I'm like, what is this? Like, Dress to Impress. I'm Googling it to try to figure out what system it's for so that I can just download it. And then I'm like, what is this? It's part of Roblox, which I know a little bit about, but not very much. And so today I looked up, I got Roblox on her. I have it. I can get Roblox on my PlayStation. I can get it on her little tablet. And so I got Roblox on there. And then I was like, what do I do next? And I realized I have no idea what this is. So I tried to download the game. And even when I downloaded it, I was like, what is this? I had to YouTube search how to play Dress to Impress. I never thought in my life, as a video game junkie, I would be going to the internet to try to understand a video game. But that's where I'm at. And I still have no clue. So Olivia and I will be learning tomorrow how to play this game. And I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to do that with her. That'll be very fun. That'll be a fun time. Come down here to the basement, turn on the PlayStation, open up Roblox, find this Dress to Impress game, and she and I will be able to play it. And that'll be very fun. That will be a memory that I think she will remember as she's starting to remember stuff. And my girl has a really good memory. Okay, I got to go catch some sleep. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. I don't know if this episode, will help you get through the holidays at all, or if it just reminds you tomorrow, today, whatever it is, what's important, or if you just go, what was that? But I hope part of it just maybe helped you with a reset and focus on the more important stuff. The most basic message that everyone says every year, but I hope it resonates with some people. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Have a great Christmas. Have a great Christmas week. Later.